welcome everyone to another video on my channel. My name is Denis and today I'm going to show you a wildcard draft and the free draft for Game Week 3 of Fantasy Premier League. Now if you enjoy my content, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, but now let's get into it. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the free draft, what you can see on the screen right now. We're going to do that on the Fantasy Football Hub app, and as you can see, the team rating for this team is 94%. You can have also your team rated for free on this site if you want. There's a big discount at the moment, and if you're not going to win your mini league, they are going to give you your money back, so check the links into my description. But now, before talking about my free, I want to say some things. Now obviously nobody is forced to use their free in Game Week 3 if you don't want to do that, but again, some good reasons to use your free. For example, maybe you're someone who has players like Mohamed Salah, Gakpo, Wirtz. Liverpool are going to play against Arsenal, so you want to get rid of them for just this gaming. So obviously in that case would be a nice idea to use your free. But again, if you plan for it, fair enough. I'm going to show you here which I think that is going to be a really good free for Game Week 3, and hopefully it's going to work for you. Now it's not so tough to make a free for Game Week 3, to be honest with you, because you have a lot of money. And now I'm going to show you here, I have 0.4 millions in the bank with this draft, but also on my bench I have a lot of expensive players, to just show you that there are also other players you can consider. Now starting with the goalkeepers, we have Cels, Sanchez. Now I included both of them because obviously it really depends on your choice and which defense do you think that has a better chance of getting a clean sheet, but you can play this different ways. As you can see, at the moment I have double Nottingham Forest defense against West Ham United. That's totally dependent on you if you want to do that. Obviously if you don't want to double up on Nottingham Forest, you can do something like this and just play someone like Dorgu against Burnley at home. So again, Manchester United didn't impress me a lot in the first two game weeks, but still Dorgu impressed me. He was a really attacking defender, and it doesn't really matter his price. The fixture is just amazing. Burnley at home, you're not going to get probably a better fixture for him, so I think that he's a really nice punt on a free. Now Cucurella, Collins, Pedro Polo, Milenkovic, I think that all these players are really good if you want to pick them depending on your preferences. Now again, Pedro Polo, Spurs are going to play against Bournemouth at home. I think that Bournemouth are a good attacking side. That's why at the moment I have him on the bench. But obviously Spurs also demonstrated a lot of good defensive performances against Manchester City in Game Week 2. So I can see them getting a clean sheet. Now it's not a guaranteed. That's why as you can see here, I have someone like Collins at 5 millions. So a player from Brentford. The fixture is decent against Sunderland away, and he's also amazing for defensive contributions. Cucurella, again, not really good for defensive contributions, but he's really getting into a lot of good opportunities to score, to assist. That's what I really like about Cucurella. And also on a free, I think that he's a nice option. If we talk a little bit about the midfield, probably the best part of this free, Bruno Fernandes, Cunha. Again, I have a triple up for Manchester United. Not a lot of surprises here. I think that you should target this fixture if you're using your free. So again, Bruno Fernandes, an amazing player. I know that a lot of people are frustrating at the moment with him because obviously he missed a penalty and he's playing a much deeper role for Manchester United, but against Burnley I think that he's a really nice option and also a really good captaincy option. And between Mbeumo and Cunha at the moment I prefer someone like Cunha, but really it is not such a big difference between them at the moment. Next, if we go to the other midfielders, as you can see, Dango and Barnes. Now these are really nice differential also. I think that if you want to go safe, obviously you can go for someone like Semenyo, you can go for someone like Rogers, someone like Sarr again could be nice against Aston Villa, because usually when Sarr plays against Aston Villa he delivers really well, so again he could be a nice option. But if you really want to go different a little bit, someone like Dango, who got defensive contribution points last game week, has a really good fixture. I think that he's nailed. I think that he's going to start and he's going to get good minutes. And also with Barnes, I really want to have some coverage from Newcastle. I know that they weren't great in the first two games. Now, to be honest with you, playing in 10 against Liverpool, it's not that easy. And also they dominated Liverpool in the second half yesterday. So again, I was a little bit impressed with the determination mostly for Newcastle. Now Gordon, we know that he got a red card, so he's going to miss. Probably Barnes' minutes are going to go up a little bit, and I think that he's going to be a great option against Leeds away. But definitely there are a lot of good options in midfield. If you wanna triple up for Manchester United, you could go even for Mbeumo. But again, I'm not sure if I want to do that again, just because United didn't convince me that much. If we talk a little bit about the forward line, Haaland, Wood, João Pedro. Haaland again, he would be probably my captain if you want to play it safe. Against Brighton away, it's a decent fixture for someone like Haaland. My other two strikers are Chris Wood and João Pedro. Now, this is not a knee-jerk. João Pedro obviously scored 15 points in Game Week 2. I think that the fixtures is decent, and more so because probably Palmer has a little chance of missing Game Week 3. I think that makes also João Pedro a lock-in on any free, for me at least. Now, the fixtures is not amazing or something like that. Fulham are not a bad defense or something like that, but João Pedro, if Palmer is going to be out, there is a chance also he could be on penalties. Him or Enzo Fernandez are going to be on penalties, and also with Wood, he's going to play against West Ham at home. A decent fixtures, he's on penalties. So yeah, pretty much this is something like a free draft for me if I were to use it in Game Week 3. Please let me know about your opinion in the comments down below. But now let's see my wildcard draft. Okay, now in the second part, I'm going to show you a wildcard draft for Game Week 3. Now, before talking about the players, guys, I just want to say that I know everybody is frustrating at the moment with the ranks, with their teams, with their picks. But to be honest with you, a lot of really popular options blanked in the first two game weeks. So the start of the season wasn't amazing for a lot of us. I'm just not sure if wildcarding in Game Week 3 is the best strategy to go. Now again, if you have a lot of major problems into your team, maybe you have players like Frimpong, Gvardiol, Ainuri, other players who are injured, maybe you have Bukayo Saka, maybe you have Palmer. Again, it is not a problem to use the wildcard. I tried here to make a wildcard draft for Game Week 3, and we're going to discuss a little bit about it. Now, with the goalkeepers, I'm not going to try to talk too much. Sanchez and Dubravka, same goalkeepers as I have into my team. Again, this is a question of your preferences. You want to pick someone like Dubravka because he's a 4 million goalkeeper and he's going to play. To free up a lot of cash, obviously, for your other moves, and then you're going to pick a goalkeeper who's going to be your main goalkeeper pretty much. Now, I would not go for Becker, I would not go for Raya. Arsenal are going to play against Liverpool. You can go for someone like Sales. I don't think that I would go for someone like Pope. Someone like Martinez, again, could be a nice option here if you want to go a little bit different. The fixtures for Aston Villa are pretty good for the next game weeks. I wouldn't go for someone like Pickford, although he scored a lot of points in Game Week 2. I think that Everton should have considered in that game, and the fixtures are not really amazing for someone like Pickford. Someone like Vicario, again, he could be a nice option, and with someone like Kelleher, I'm just not sure I would go there because they just got a clean sheet. Now, if we talk a little bit about my defense, as you can see here, I try to have a balanced team. I have Romero, Dorgu, Agbadu, Richards, and Gudmundsson as a 4 million defender. I have also 0.3 millions in the bank with this team. Again, not a lot of expensive defenders. Here you could go for someone like Munoz, could be a nice options if you can afford him. Someone like Cucurella, someone like Milenkovic or Murillo if you still want to go for a Nottingham Forest defender. But I think that Romero obviously is decent for defensive contributions. Spurs are improved a lot defensive wise this season with Thomas Frank. Agbadu, again, really good for defensive contributions. Dorgu is a nice punt and really cheap. Also, as you can see here, he's going to play against Burnley at home this gaming, but after that, Man United are going to play against Man City and Chelsea. So just make sure you have another defender who can play instead of him if you're going to have Dorgo on your wildcard. That's why I have Richards. And also even someone like Gudmundsson could be a nice option. Now again, pretty much these are the options. Munoz, Pedro Porro, these are other alternatives you could go for if you really want to, but I have all my money, as you can see, in Mohamed Salah and Haaland. So if I were to wildcard in Game Week 3, I would try to find a way to have both of them. That's why my defense is a little weak, as you can see here. Now again, if you don't want to go for someone like Salah, that's going to free up a lot of money for you. For an example, maybe you want to use your free in Game Week 4 when Liverpool are going to play against Burnley. Could be a strategy for you to go without Mohamed Salah, but down the line at some point you're going to, I suppose that you're going to need Mohamed Salah, but again, it really depends to you. With having both Mohamed Salah and Erling Haaland, you're going to free up some spaces. That's why in this draft, as you can see, you have Anderson and Reinders from Manchester City. Now, probably in Gaming 3, I would still play someone like Reinders against Brighton. But yeah, basically you're going to play one of them every game week, playing a 3-4-3 formation, and I don't mind it, to be honest with you. I think that both of them are great players. At that price, obviously great value. I would go probably for someone like Semenyo and someone like Sar in midfield. Again, you have other options. You could go for someone like Dango, you could go for someone like Gakpo, but the fixture in Game Week 3 for Liverpool is not that great. You could go for someone like Cunha on your wildcard, but the same reason. Man United are going to play against Burnley, but after that, against City and against Chelsea, I don't really want to have a lot of Manchester United players. So again, it really depends when you want to use your free also. So keep in mind that when you're building your wildcard. Let's talk a little bit about the forward line, because I think that a lot of people maybe are going to be surprised I don't have someone like Chris Wood. Now I'm going to try to explain that. So obviously I have someone like Haaland, who probably would be my captain here in Game Week 3 against Brighton instead of Salah against Arsenal. I've gone with someone like Mateta and João Pedro. Now this wildcard draft is more likely built for you to free it in Game Week 6, because in Game Week 6 Crystal Palace are going to play against Liverpool, so you have players like Mateta, Sar and Richards, and if you're going to use your free in Game Week 6, obviously you can get rid of them and buy a lot of players from Manchester City instead of them. Now this was my strategy. If you want to use your free in Game Week 4, then I would have someone like Wood probably instead of Mateta, but the fixtures are great for someone like Mateta, also on penalties. Aston Villa, Sunderland, West Ham, you're going to free him out against Liverpool, and then you have Everton, Bournemouth and Arsenal in Game Week 9, which is not ideal. And at the moment, I think that I would have someone like João Pedro, because at the moment we don't know how bad the injury for someone like Cole Palmer is, and if he's not going to be available for Game Week 3, João Pedro minutes are going to go up. He's going to be maybe even on penalties, as I said before. So yeah, I think that this is a really good front three to have. Now if you look at other options in midfield, there aren't a lot of really amazing players, to be honest with you. So Wirtz, Gakpo, again, but the fixture this game is not great for them. Someone like Eze for Arsenal, but again, I don't think that his minutes are going to be that good. Someone like Johnson, someone like Kudus, again, from Spurs could be options. I would go for someone like Kudus if you really want a midfielder from Spurs. Again, Rogers, the fixtures are great from Aston Villa, but I just don't think that I would have him on a wildcard at the moment, at least. And pretty much that's it. At other prices, you have, as I said before, someone like Dango if you want to go cheaper, but already you have two cheap midfielders in Reinders and Anderson. And if you look at the forwards, again, the fixtures for Watkins are great. Definitely, if you have Watkins, I would just keep him. But if you're going to use your wildcard, probably I would not go for Watkins. Again, if you want to go for someone like Gyökeres, fair enough. Maybe it is not such a bad time to play a team like Liverpool. And if you want to have Gyökeres long term, I think that that's fine if you want to do that. Again, the fixtures in my opinion are not great. Liverpool, Forest, City, Newcastle are not amazing in the next 4, but after Game Week 7, definitely. Someone like Strand Larsen, again, there is a lot of rumors about him. Maybe he's going to go to Newcastle, so I would not have him at the moment in my team, because it is a lot of uncertainty. Someone like Bone, definitely not. Evan Nilsson, again, could be a decent shout, but pretty much it's about having Mateta, João Pedro or Chris Wood. Between these three, you're going to pick two of them in this wildcard draft, obviously if you want to play a 3-4-3 formation. And again, I like someone like Ekitike, but at the moment it's looking like the discussion for Isak to Liverpool are advancing again, and it's just not the time. I just think that it's not the time to buy Ekitike against Arsenal. I think that's the toughest game of the year for Liverpool, for the attackers. But yeah, pretty much this was my wildcard for Game Week 3. Let's go a little bit faster to see how this team is going to look like. In Game Week 4, for an example, you're just going to play someone like Richards instead of Dorgu, which is nice. You're going to play Reinders against Man United. As you can see, obviously the fixture for someone like Agbadu is not amazing here, but you can play someone like Gudmundsson if you want. And again, these players, these cheap defenders are really good for defensive contributions, so I don't mind, to be honest, playing him also against a Newcastle team who's going to be without Isak in Game Week 5. Here you can play someone like Dubravka instead of Sanchez if you want. Dorgu has Chelsea, Agbadu has Leeds. Again, if you want to change something here, you can do this. And someone like Anderson has Burnley away, when Reinders is going to play against Arsenal away. So I think that it's really good rotation here. In Game Week 6, again, probably you're going to use your Freed if you're going to go with 3 Crystal Palace players, because as I said before, they are going to play against Liverpool. And in Game Week 7, Romero against Leeds, Richards against Everton, Agbadu against Brighton. Obviously here you're just going to play probably someone like Dorgu. The fixtures are amazing for these defenders at the moment. As you can see, you can play someone like Dubravka here. And obviously someone like Reinders when Anderson is going to play against Newcastle away. So yeah, please let me know down in the comments down below what's your opinion, what would you change, and also if you're using any chips in Game Week 3. Thanks so much for watching this long, I really appreciate it and it really means a lot. Leave a like if you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye.